everyone, welcome to another edition of Bleeding Blue Shirts. John Giannone, Steve Valiquette with you as we spin forward and talk about Game 5 Thursday night in Raleigh, North Carolina. Rangers and Hurricanes tied 2 games apiece. This one's going to be fun, Steve-O. And when thinking about what occurred Tuesday night at the Garden in Game 4, to me, skaters 1 through 18 and the goaltender Igor Shesterkin, I thought it was the most complete game the Rangers have played in the entire postseason. Do you agree? And if so, what was most noticeable to you?
The start. I like to say that the team started on time, but with the right frame of mind. The way they were very focused on playing a physical game, they talked about it, they wanted to assert themselves that way, but to take command the way they did and to frustrate Carolina the way they were, that was really the story of this game. Then, with the energy being very high, they were able to calm themselves down in the power play. I looked at the power play this morning. Here's what surprised me. Puck possession. The Rangers had 10 passes before their very first shot on goal. They then went 5 consecutive passes before Zibanejad shot on goal. 2 passes, shot on goal, 4 more passes, 2 passes, 2 passes, on and on. They retrieved every single puck, and they were able to really allow themselves as skilled players to just control themselves and the moment and feel in command. I was impressed. It ends with a goal on the second power play from Vatrano, but I felt like they built their game. They built their period from the start. And to be able to take control of the series, I think you really have to, at some point, play your best hockey, and they did. Now you've got to go to Carolina and make it happen again, and we know how difficult that's been.
Yeah, that first 12 to 14 minutes was the springboard to success in Game 4. Now the trick is duplicating it on the road. You mentioned it. Carolina 0-5 away from home, 6-0 at home, and it's just so stark and contrasting what they've done at home versus on the road. Rangers haven't been great on the road either, but they did win when they needed to, when they faced elimination in Game 6 in Pittsburgh. So all that said, Steve, how do you take and transfer and carry with you what happened in Games 3 and 4 to a Game 5?
I think the Rangers have to look at what types of shots are we directing at the net right now? Because offensively, if the story after the first 3 games was the lack of offense on the Rangers side, they had 11 high danger chances in the first 3 games of the series. But in game number 4, they had 8. So how do you go from 11/3 to 8-1? So there was 8 high danger chances, but the better news for me was there was only 9 low danger chances. I don't think Ronta ever really got into this game. I don't think he was ever able to establish himself with rhythm in the game. The perfect recipe for scoring in the NHL and winning a hockey game is 7 or more high danger chances and 12 or fewer low danger. That's a really good recipe for success. The Rangers hit the mark in game number 3. To replicate that in Game 4, you have to do the same thing. Come out, be physical. Let everybody on Carolina know that you're in the game and it's going to be a hard, long night when you're going back for the puck. They got through the neutral zone very well. When they got on the power play, they got the puck off the walls and they got to the interior, they controlled the game. When they got back to 5-on-5, they were getting the puck into the zone. We saw this a lot last night in the neutral zone where they were deflecting the puck in and then being able to retrieve it, getting the first shot on goal in zone, retrieving it. I thought the pressure in the first period, it was more than what Carolina could handle. In period number 2, there was a push from Carolina. I thought the Rangers handled them better than we've seen in games 1 through 3.
Yeah, I really thought the Rangers stole a page from the way Carolina succeeds. You and I talked about this with Henrik Lundqvist on the postgame show on Tuesday. Just the concept that Carolina in this series scored 2, including the overtime goal in Game 1, 2, including an empty netter in Game 2, then 1 and 1. They've scored 6 goals in 4 games in this series. Do you think perhaps the Rangers' mindset for Game 5 should be, we could outscore this team and maybe be a little bit more high risk, high reward than we've seen so far?
See, I love where you're going because I'm thinking the same thing. Does it benefit the Rangers more than it benefits Carolina to put a little more risk into this? I think it does because the Rangers have high-end finishers that I don't think that Carolina has. Plus, you have to get through Shesterkin.
Right.
He's on top of his game right now. There's a certain intelligence that you have to use out there that a lot of the Rangers possess, okay? Adam Fox's goal. He ends up net front, and we talked a lot about confusing the way that Carolina wants to defend in their zone. The reason why Fox jumps in on this play, though, is because Kreider breaks his stick, and after he breaks his stick, he plays it, it keeps alive, but they're actually changing by one another, and as Kreider skates by to go to the bench for his stick, Fox knows that worst case scenario, he can dive into the play, and there's going to be a safety valve behind him. John, it reminded me of the mid-November game against the Buffalo Sabres when Lindgren jumps in with 3 seconds to go. The Rangers win 5-4 at home.
Right.
Situational awareness, and this is during the pressure moments of the playoffs when everybody's losing their head, but strong, smart players that the Rangers do have are keeping theirs and they're making sharp plays. That's why Fox ends up net front. Lindgren delivers the puck from the point. Fox scores. But we're seeing these plays all over the ice, and I think the Rangers have themselves in a very composed position right now.
That said, Stevie, last question. Gut feeling for Game 5 on Thursday. Can the Rangers steal one in that building and bring it home for Game 6 looking to clinch?
Everybody is playing their best hockey right now. Panarin's line, they were on for 0 scoring chances against. You and I know how huge that is for this team. Zibanejad's rolling right now. I love what the defensemen are doing. Shesterkin's on top of his game. Why not us? That's what they have to say to themselves. Why not us? In fact, this is the kind of moment the team needs to just feel like they believe that they can go deeper than just Carolina, okay? You can't help it. You're around it. You're in hockey. People are talking to you. You're reading certain things. But Tampa's beat up a little bit, okay? Braden Point's their engine. If he's not coming back, let's just say that there's an opportunity here that's bigger than this series, that the Rangers have to at least come back sometimes and remind themselves to stay focused on what's at hand. You have to win a game in Carolina, but I think this team is sharp and excited.
Yeah, and that is first things first. The air of invincibility, or certainly the favorites role that Carolina carried into the series, is no longer. It's a best of 3. 2 of them are in Raleigh. Game 5 is Thursday night. We remind you, 6:30 on MSG Networks and MSG Go for the pregame show. Steve will be there as always. Marty Biron will join us in studio throughout the night. And then as soon as it's over on ESPN, turn it over to MSG Networks. Again, we'll have a 1-hour postgame, so comprehensive with all the interviews and the insights, highlights, and analysis. And we'll see where it all goes. We know there will be a Game 6 on Saturday night at the Garden. Will the Rangers be looking to clinch or stay alive? That is all to be determined by Game 5. Can't wait for it, Stevie. See you then, bud.
Hey, see you then, buddy.